natural state, weather changes in an instant. In a matter of minutes, the skies can darken, spawning twisters.
There's a tornado warning. We want you to take cover immediately.
Jeopardizing the safety of your family.
It's a serious situation.
Over the next half hour, we break down the severe weather threat in Arkansas. What types of conditions you should expect. Steps to take to ensure your safety. And resources to stay up to date. Get storm ready right now.
Thanks for joining us for this Arkansas Storm Team Severe Weather Special. I'm KARK Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan.
And I'm Fox 16 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin. When severe weather strikes and lives are at risk, getting out that critical information is absolutely crucial, and that's why we formed the Arkansas Storm Team.
It's 5 meteorologists from both KARK and Fox 16 coming together during major weather events with a single goal in mind, the safety of you and your family.
When the National Weather Service issues a tornado warning, we all know the devastation that's possible. That's why when safety is at risk, the meteorologists of both Fox 16 and KARK combined forces to launch the Arkansas Storm Team. That way we can get you the information that you need.
When lives are at risk, the Arkansas Storm Team is simulcast on both KARK and Fox 16, as well as online, utilizing the resources of a team of meteorologists, as well as live cameras and storm chasers to bring you the information first.
On April 10th of last year, the Arkansas Storm Team was on the air for over 4 straight hours as tornadoes moved through the area, bringing viewers the critical information that they need. Our cameras were first on the scene literally just seconds after a tornado ripped through the town of Botkenberg, giving viewers unprecedented live coverage.
With 5 meteorologists and a team of live reporters, the Arkansas Storm Team combines the power of 2, making your safety our #1 priority.
It's truly a partnership unlike anything Central Arkansas has ever seen before.
You're most likely going to see the Arkansas Storm Team in action during a tornado warning. For more information on what a tornado warning means and the other types of watches and warnings, here's Arkansas Storm Team meteorologist Greg D.
As severe weather approaches and severe weather season approaches, there are a couple of ways which you'll see the Arkansas Storm Team will let you know that severe weather is imminent. The first one is through weather watches. A watch means exactly that, watch for severe weather. Now, it's issued for large areas, and they last several hours, indicating that severe weather is possible in and near the highlighted area. Now, if there is a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch, you will see a box maybe drawn like this on one of our maps here on the Arkansas Storm Team. Look how large this area is. In this case, the one I drew covers much of Arkansas, and it could be issued for 5, 6, maybe even longer hours, alerting you that somewhere in this area, severe weather is possible later on in the day. This means that you can go ahead and go about your daily business. Just be sure to watch out and keep checking with the weather, maybe once an hour. Check the radar, the Arkansas Storm Team app, or go to our website and check to make sure that there is no weather out there. Now, once storms get going and we get a big thunderstorm that maybe is producing severe weather, inside of that watch area, a warning could be issued. Now, these are smaller and issued for individual storms. They're issued for small areas and usually last less than an hour. For instance, there's a supercell thunderstorm. This is not real. It's just created, let's say, approaching the Little Rock area, and there may be a tornado in that storm. So the National Weather Service will outline a much smaller area out ahead of the storm. It may look like this and issue a tornado warning for these towns. Remember, the last box covered multiple counties in Arkansas. This one covers just a couple of counties and towns, in this case, parts of central Arkansas. And instead of lasting 4 to 6 hours, the National Weather Service would likely issue this for 30 minutes to 1 hour. What this means is that severe weather is happening. It's either been detected on radar or someone has actually seen it with their eyes. This means you need to take action to protect yourself and those around you, get to a safe place, and follow instructions that are issued with this warning. It could be for hail, for gusty winds, or for even tornadoes. As we go through the severe weather season, you will see these watches and warnings, and we'll communicate them to you through the Arkansas Storm Team and our app and website and Facebook pages so that you can stay safe this severe weather season.
You don't want to take warnings of any kind too lightly. We've seen situations where even severe thunderstorm warnings can produce high winds that can produce damage similar to that of a tornado.
But it's tornado warnings that you need to take very, very seriously. Arkansas Storm Team meteorologist Pat Walker takes a look at how they're formed.
Hey, thanks. You know, living in Arkansas, we know tornadoes can happen any time of the year. But of course, now that we are finally in spring, we are now moving into the peak season where tornadoes happen for the most part. Once we get to the latter part of March and into April, they peak in April. Really typically about midway through April into the second half of April, that's when we see the most tornadoes in Arkansas. And they start coming down once we get into the summer months. But of course, they can come back up in the fall. Of course, that's when we typically see them throughout the year. But also the time of the day is really major importance. It's typically when the atmosphere is at its warmest, or at least here at the surface, we're at our warmest. And that's really between the hours of 4 and 9 p.m. So once you get to 4 to 8 p.m., they're really that peak time, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, the peak time to see those tornadoes. But of course, they can happen at any hour of the day. Now, of course, how do tornadoes really happen? It happens a lot because we have that warm, humid air coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico. And perhaps you've heard when the warm air and the cold air clash, that's when tornadoes occur. That's a little bit of an oversimplification for it, but in fact, cold air and warm air are clashing. The cold air is in the upper levels of the atmosphere, diving down out of the jet stream, and along that, little disturbances come up, and those disturbances are riding in the jet stream. But down at the surface, what we'll see happen is that we'll see an actual cold front form, and out ahead of that cold front is where a storm may be forming. Of course, that storm will be forming in that warm, humid flow out of the Gulf of Mexico. As time goes on, we still have all these other winds kind of moving at different directions. The jet stream wind, mainly from the west, and a mid-level wind out of the southwest, and those winds all together actually help the storms that develop in that warm, humid atmosphere to start to turn. We have one moving from the southeast, one from the south and southwest, and one from the west. It's all these different wind speeds and wind directions at different levels actually help this thunderstorm to start to turn. And as it turns, eventually, in the mid-levels of this storm, we see the mesocyclone, and this is what radar picks up on as what could be eventually a tornado. These are all parts of the sciences that we do know well a whole lot about. But it's at this point, once we have that mesocyclone, we begin to wonder exactly how that tornado actually comes to pass. Now, there's still a lot of research going on and a lot of theories on exactly how this occurs. We don't know for sure, but this is still why we continue to do a lot of research to see exactly what happens in the last few minutes when this tornado occurs. But when that mesocyclone does occur, we know we at least have around 10 to 15 minutes before that tornado actually does come to pass. Now, of course, when it comes to tornadoes, we talk about the EF scale, EF5 being the strongest, but typically in Arkansas, we see most of those around EF1, and that's really true across the entire country. Back to you.
While tornadoes dominate most of the headlines, you're more likely to experience strong winds and hail.
Arkansas Storm Team meteorologist Natalie Walters takes a look at the other types of severe weather we experience here in the natural state.
Well, the National Weather Service defines a severe thunderstorm as being severe once it has hail greater than 1 inch in diameter, which is quarter-size hail, winds greater than 58 miles per hour, or a tornado. Now, I'm going to be talking about the hail and the damaging winds and how both of those form. So first, I wanted to get into how hail forms. Now, hail forms from the updraft of a thunderstorm. Now, every thunderstorm has an updraft and a downdraft. So we get that thunderstorm to grow and we get a strong updraft inside of that cloud. Now, up on top of the cloud, snowflakes and supercooled water droplets coexist. Now, these collide with each other and they form an ice pellet and soon to be a hailstone. Now, what happens with that hailstone is it will start to fall back to the ground. It will start to fall to the ground right before that updraft picks it right back up. So what happens is we'll get this to circulate within the cloud, forming layer upon layer of ice on that hailstone. Now, if you actually cut a hailstone in half, you would be able to see the rings inside of the hailstone, the layers of ice kind of looking like the inside of a tree. And really, the stronger the updraft you have, the larger the hailstone. So you could get hailstones like this. This is record hailstone, 8 inches in diameter, which could cause significant damage to your property, your car, or your home. So it's important to heed every severe thunderstorm warning. Now, I wanted to get into damaging winds as well. We talked about that updraft. We also want to talk about the downdraft of that thunderstorm. Now, inside of this thunderstorm. We get that warm updraft. Then we get that cool air that has evaporated inside that cloud. Now, what happens is that cool air, it's denser than the warm air. It's going to push downwards and outwards in all directions. That's when we get the damaging winds. Now, damaging winds can cause significant damage. Although the air is not rotating like a tornado, it can clearly uproot trees like this one right here. This is from October 2006. It could cause significant damage to your home as well as so trees can topple over and cause damage to your home too. So once again, important to heed all severe thunderstorm warnings, whether it's hail or damaging winds.
Both KARK and Fox 16 take steps to warn you about potential severe weather well before a watch or warning is issued. On Fox 16, we declare severe weather alert days ahead of potential storm events. This allows you to prepare and remain storm ready throughout the day.
On KARK, we have a weather impact rating system. 0 means no impact, a 10 means major effects on your day. When you see a weather impact number of 7 or higher, it means you need to keep tuned into the Arkansas Storm Team until the severe weather threat expires.
Next on the Arkansas Storm Team Special, we'll take a closer look at the experience of all 5 Arkansas Storm Team meteorologists. Plus, how to prepare your family for a severe weather event. Meteorologist Pat Walker looks at exactly how to pick a safe spot in your home.
And still ahead, the steps some schools are taking to ensure the safety of your children. It's all ahead on the Arkansas Storm Team Severe Weather Special.
Get weather updates around the clock as they happen by following the Arkansas Storm Team meteorologists on Twitter.
It's been a tough winter. Are you worried about hidden damage to your roof because of the ice and snow? Are you concerned that your roof will stand up to the spring rains? Then call Royal Windows and Siding today for a free estimate on our high-quality CertainTeed shingles. They outperform ordinary roofing, so you can keep your home safe. Call in now during our Slam Dunk sale and save up to 50% on labor. We have affordable financing, low monthly payments, a $25 Walmart gift card with your estimate. Now that's a slam dunk from Royal.
I'm KARK Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan. The road I took to get to Arkansas had quite a few detours. After graduating from the U.S. Air Force Academy, I served 6 years as a counterintelligence and criminal investigations officer before earning my degree in meteorology from the University of Northern Colorado. My career in broadcasting took me from the plains of Wyoming to the Great Lakes to the wide open spaces of South Dakota and then to Houston, Texas. My most memorable weather experience was Hurricane Ike's direct hit on Houston in 2008. Although it took a while to get here, my family and I are glad to call Arkansas home.
I'm Fox 16 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin. I have a degree in meteorology from Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, and I've been a broadcast meteorologist now for over 18 years. During this time, I've dealt with all sorts of severe weather, from massive snow and ice storms to hurricanes and tornadoes. My journey to Arkansas wasn't a long one, starting in a tiny market in upstate New York, then along to the Gulf Coast where I covered numerous storms, including Hurricane Katrina. From there it was to the West Coast, then to South Florida, and now here in Arkansas. This is my 6th severe weather season in Arkansas, and it is my honor to be part of the Arkansas Storm Team.
My passion is weather, big weather. It's Mother Nature's worst that drives me the hardest to warn others and to get the forecast right. I'm a Florida State graduate with over 8 years experience as a meteorologist tracking severe weather across the South. My most memorable experience was covering the 2007 Enterprise, Alabama tornado. If you're watching me and you aren't in Southern Coffee County, you should not be watching me. You should be taking shelter immediately. It destroyed a high school, killing 13 students. My work during that storm gave me national recognition from the American Meteorological Society.
I'm Natalie Walters, and severe weather is what sparked my interest in meteorology. That interest led me to the University of Missouri, where I received my Bachelor's of Science degree in Atmospheric Science and my minor in Mathematics. While I was there, I was a member of the Mizzou Storm Chase team, where I was not only able to study tornadoes on radar, but also from just a short distance away. I started my career as a local meteorologist at KTVE in Monroe, Louisiana. It was there I was able to study severe weather in North Louisiana and South Arkansas. I'm now here in Central Arkansas, and I plan to do my best to keep Arkansans safe when severe weather strikes.
Growing up in Arkansas, like everyone else, I've experienced my fair share of severe weather. As a meteorologist, I've gotten to work in West Texas and Oklahoma, right in the middle of Tornado Alley, where I track tornadoes and other very large severe storms. My last job was in Iowa, where I covered the weather not only in Iowa, but Illinois, also Nebraska, Alabama, Georgia, and as far west as Reno, Nevada. That job was a unique experience, but even better than that is being back home to cover severe weather in the state I love, for the people I love.
Now that you've gotten to know a little bit more about us and our background, let's talk about something every family should discuss: where to go in your home to be safe during a storm.
Meteorologist Pat Walker has the do's and don'ts of selecting a safe room.
People are always asking me what to do in a tornado when a storm shelter isn't available. And that's a valid concern for many Arkansans. You know, I wish I could give one answer that would work for everyone, every location, and every time. But the truth is, there isn't just one answer. So let me give you a set of guidelines that you can use in your particular situation to help keep you safe as possible when there isn't a tornado shelter available. So let's get started by going inside. These guidelines are easy to remember if you can remember one word: duck. Each letter of the word duck stands for one of the 4 things you need to know. D is for downstairs. Since the wind from a tornado is stronger higher up, the roofs and upper levels of a home are the first to go when a tornado hits. So remember D, downstairs. The U in duck stands for underneath something sturdy. Being underneath something provides another layer of protection from you and the outside world. A strong table like this or a workbench will work. Have you ever heard about getting underneath a mattress? Now, it's not as sturdy as a hard table is, but at least it's easier to grab and move around the house, and at least it will protect you from some flying debris like glass. So remember you, underneath something. A tornado is outside your home and wanting to come in. It's not going to ring the doorbell. It's just going to come crashing right through the walls. How rude, right? Well, that brings us to the 3rd letter of duck, C, center part of your house. A tornado is going to do damage from the outside in. So you want to put as many layers or walls between you and the outside world in order to stay safe. Each layer of protection protects you from flying debris that, when it comes into the house, each wall will slow it or even stop it before it actually gets to you. That way you stay much safer. So in this home, we have 3 walls this way, 3 walls this way. We're downstairs, we're underneath something, we're in the center part of the house, so we've found our spot and we're safe. K stands for keep away from windows. Windows are made out of glass, so when they're hit by a tornado or debris, the glass can easily cut you. Also, windows are a weak point in the home, much weaker than the wall. So when debris from the outside hits them, it'll much more easily come through the window than it would from the wall. So K, keep away from windows. Now, the safest place will vary from house to house, but if you take the duck rule and apply it to your house, you can find the safest spot in your home, apart from an actual storm shelter. So remember D, downstairs. U, underneath something. C, the center part of your house. And of course, K, keep away from windows.
Next on the Arkansas Storm Team Special, taking your family's safety to the next level. Inside a shelter made specifically for severe weather and how it can ensure your safety.
Plus, rebuilding after the storm. We take you back to the town devastated by one of last year's largest tornadoes. What they learned from their brush with Mother Nature. It's all ahead on Arkansas Storm Team's Severe Weather Special.
If you're on Facebook, be sure to like the Arkansas Storm Team meteorologists to get updates when you need them.
Jared here, owner at Arkansas Storm Shelters, Arkansas's leader in severe weather safety. We offer an extensive lineup of products to meet your needs and offer 100% financing. Visit ArkansasStormShelter.com to see all of our products or call 855-967-SAFE to talk to a trained representative. Come by our office and let us personally show you all of our safe and durable shelters. Arkansas Storm Shelters. We provide safety from the storm.
It's been a tough winter. Are you worried about hidden damage to your roof because of the ice and snow? Are you concerned that your roof will stand up to the spring rains? Then call Royal Windows and Siding today for a free estimate on our high-quality CertainTeed shingles. They outperform ordinary roofing, so you can keep your home safe. Call in now during our Slam Dunk sale and save up to 50% on labor. We have affordable financing, low monthly payments, a $25 Walmart gift card with your estimate. Now that's a Slam Dunk from Royal.
Some central Arkansas schools have been damaged or even destroyed by severe weather, and many have taken steps to help protect students when future storms strike.
Arkansas Storm Team reporter Deidre Wilson takes us to one campus with an extreme safe room.
It's the sound of music in Amy Thomas's class.
I personally have loved music my whole life.
She's been teaching at BB Middle School in McRae for 2 years, but her class happens to serve as more than just the place to belt out tunes.
I felt like it was going to be neat because we would be safe in this room.
Her music room also serves as a shelter from tornadoes. This is the 4th one in BB School District after a twister ripped through the town and its schools back in 1999.
Oh, it was devastating. I mean, pretty much the livelihood that we had, it wiped us all out. And so being up here at this campus, I feel very safe for my students and also for my staff.
BB Assistant Superintendent Hal Crisco says it was important when McRae came into the district to add a safe shelter, but it comes at a price.
It's extremely expensive. We've been very fortunate in getting a lot of FEMA funding and help in the district, and our board is very committed to providing the necessary resources to give this protection to our students.
Some of those students appreciate the extra protection.
I feel very safe around here because I know that there is a safe room.
It makes me feel pretty safe knowing that there is a place I can go to.
And even though Amy Thomas specializes in music,
because we are in Arkansas,
she knows geographically tornado safe rooms are making the grade in BB.
Safe rooms are great for schools, but you can also get something that's similar for your home.
Arkansas Storm Team meteorologist Natalie Walters takes a look at a unique way to keep your family safe.
When these sounds are heard in your area, it's time to take shelter. The hallway, bathroom, and basement are the first places that come to mind, but with deadly tornado outbreaks across the country and 30 tornadoes reported in Arkansas in 2013, in-home and outdoor tornado shelters are becoming more common. Tornado Shelter Systems Incorporated is a family-owned business that has been keeping Arkansas safe with Mighty Safe and other shelters for almost 9 years. And they do it with steel. Steel strong enough to withstand even the most violent tornado.
It's been tested by Texas Tech to withstand an EF5, so that's a 250-mile-an-hour plus wind.
Tornado Shelter Systems took the time to visit different factories and study data from FEMA to determine the best products available to keep you safe.
And heading into this Mighty Safe, you can just feel how heavy this door is, weighing 500 pounds. And this entire shelter itself weighs almost a ton of bullet-resistant plate steel from Newport, Arkansas.
Tornado Shelter Systems recommends building a shelter indoors where there's no need to venture into lightning, rain, wind, and hail that are all too common when severe weather hits.
Most of our customers put their shelter in their garage. That way they don't have to get out into the storm, and if they ever move, we can move the shelter to the new location.
Once placed in your home, your shelter can be stocked with necessities like your weather radio in case disaster strikes.
We tell them to get a large Ziploc bag and put an extra pair of shoes, socks in it, a change of clothes, your medications, your credit card, access to your funds, enough water for at least 3 days, some rations, because if you do get hit, everything's going to be gone.
But you and your family will be safe.
We get emails from customers telling us that they've just come out of their storm shelter, they've had a tornado pass by, they're so happy that they have it. Just the peace of mind of having the shelter in their home is just like a weight lifted off their shoulders.
There are a variety of shelters and safe rooms to fit your needs, but they can get very costly. But there's a simple way that if you can't afford such an investment, you can still do something that's going to keep you much safer, and that's to get a weather radio.
Now, weather radios will give you warnings when you need them most, when you're in bed in the middle of the night. And they're pretty cheap, the cost starting around $30, but they're well worth the money.
We take you back to Botkenberg a year after a twister tore through the town, changing lives forever.
Plus, how to bring a meteorologist from the Arkansas Storm Team to your child's school, or speak to a civic group. It's all ahead on the Arkansas Storm Team Severe Weather Special.
Jared here, owner at Arkansas Storm Shelters, Arkansas's leader in severe weather safety. We offer an extensive lineup of products to meet your needs and offer 100% financing. Visit ArkansasStormShelter.com to see all of our products or call 855-967-SAFE to talk to a trained representative. Come by our office and let us personally show you all of our safe and durable shelters. Arkansas Storm Shelters, we provide safety from the storm.
Power outages mean more than sitting in the dark. Some also lose vital services of their in-home medical equipment like breathing machines and heart monitors. More than an inconvenience, this can be life-threatening. Outages are a certainty. Keep your important equipment running with a whole house generator from Tri-State Water and Air. Call today for a free home evaluation. It's not a question of if you will lose power, but when. Why wait?
As we showed you earlier, one of the first tornadoes that brought the Arkansas Storm Team together struck the town of Bockenburg last spring.
This 18-wheeler has apparently flipped over. The driver told me he was heading north on Highway 65 when apparently the wind just picked up the entire truck and knocked it over on his side.
All right, you can see right there, we actually
are here at the Bockenburg Four-Square Church, where apparently there's plenty of damage here at the church. I'm going to walk you around so you can see for yourself exactly the damage here. We're here in the foyer, and this right here looks to be what used to be their sanctuary.
We sent Arkansas Storm Team reporter Hubert Tate back to the town to see how they've been doing in the years since the storm.
Rebuilding after losing it all. That's the motivation behind the work at Bockenburg Four-Square Church. An April 23rd tornado in Van Buren County destroyed the church, causing members to worship in other places. But now the pastor says workers are almost finished rebuilding.
You wonder when something like that happens, where do you go to from here? And you don't understand it all, but it has a way of working out.
There are some areas throughout the county that are still damaged, but long-term recovery committee member says the county helped 27 families get their lives back together, gaining valuable experiences along the way.
I think we learned how to coordinate volunteers a lot better, and we also learned how to tap into some of the resources around the state and to help us fund some of our projects.
County Judge Roger Hooper says since last year's storm, they have encouraged people to enroll in the Code Red program, which alerts people to approaching disasters.
It'll call either your cell phone or your landline, whatever you decided to call. It gives you up to 3 choices. And that's been one of the county's major pushes to increase the number there.
As the community pushes towards becoming whole again, they realize another natural disaster could come at any time.
Anytime there's a storm, yeah, there's concern, but you just got to trust that it's going to be okay and go with it.
And that inspiration is the tone of a community getting back to normal.
It's obviously an experience that the people of Bockenburg will never forget.
And Jeff, one that they hope they never have to go through again. We all know that tornadoes in Arkansas are a fact of life, that they happen at any time of the day, at any time of the year. But from past events, we can tell when that threat is high.
The severe weather season has already started for central Arkansas. This map shows where the probability of a tornado is highest. The darker red colors mean where climatologically or based on past experience, where tornadoes are most likely to occur on any given day. It's not a forecast, it's just based on climatology. And you can see in March, it's already a possibility across much of Arkansas. But as we advance into April, you can see that as we go through the month, those probabilities start to increase. The maximum probability in terms of the time of year is going to be around the middle of May. That's when tornado threat is generally highest for Arkansas. Now, as we go even later in the spring, we get towards late May and into June, what happens is that main tornado risk starts to shift more towards the plain states to the west. And then as we get towards the summer at the end of June, that tornado threat starts to move north as the jet stream moves north as well. And that means our tornado threat really starts to drop off as we move towards the summer months. If you would like to have a member of the storm team visit with a school, civic group, or another organization, feel free to email us at any of the addresses that you see on your screen. We welcome the opportunity to speak with people about severe weather awareness and what can be done to be prepared.
And don't forget, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or our station's websites, there are plenty of ways to keep you informed.
And know that the next time severe weather strikes, the Arkansas Storm Team is going to be ready to keep you and your family safe.